Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Mr. Chris Cochran back on the podcast today. We're going to go through the 4 Ps because of my serious frustration with the real estate community and using the word marketing. This is a really beneficial episode where Chris takes us through the marketing degree that he ultimately has in understanding how the 4 Ps play into effect when it comes to how to market a property. That word is used in the real estate community too much with your clients, and there's a reason that they start to resent you when you haven't sold it and start to bring up how do you market the property when you don't actually have an answer because you don't know. Welcome to Rethink Real Estate. My name is Ben Brady, and this is a real estate podcast aimed to deliver sales strategies, marketing tips, and business insights from industry experts and myself to build a listing-focused business for the future. Let's get into it. Christopher, welcome.
How's it going?
Oh, yeah, it's not too bad.
It's going.
It's going. Mate, how's summer in up there in Washington?
It's hot. It is 86 degrees today, which in the Northwest, might as well live on the sun because we feel like we're so close. And we have none of that smog barrier that you guys have where it filters all the sun, you know.
Yeah, but hang on. You are wearing a long sleeve shirt though. Obviously,
I have an air conditioner right there. You know, I got the finer amenities in this life.
Now, let's talk about Southern California for a minute. Is that it's been a really, really mild summer. Like it's just not warm here because I was in New York for a week recently, and like that's humidity and heat at the same time, and like you walk immediate sweat, just immediate. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well,
so
apparently, like London's having a really high summer as well. So maybe it's just like where, you know, because Seattle, New York, London are kind of on the same like top line, like equator, whatever you would call it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Again, don't get me wrong. Like New York wasn't like the gate of hell like it normally is like around this time of year, but it was definitely warmer. Come back here to Southern California. I walk out of the airport yesterday and I'm like, it's chilly.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough of the weather. People often say that if someone immediately goes to the weather, they really don't care what your answer is when they say, how are you? And they go to the weather. They just have nothing else to talk about.
I feel that then. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Well, by now you should realize that that the only constant in my universe is me. So everything needs to lead back to me, Christopher. Okay?
There we go. Okay.
Now, there's a sensitive topic when it comes to me and realtors at the moment. And it's the word marketing. Like it actually, like when we were just off camera talking about it, is we're talking about the 4 Ps today because I have no idea when it comes to marketing. And I've got to be honest, is that I'm a real estate agent that has done more transactions than and again, this is not to impress anybody. It's more to impress on you the volume. Like I've done probably at this point more than $10 billion worth of transactions. Just to be clear is that'll be more than most real estate agents that you've ever met or combined, right? Yep. And I have no fucking idea when it comes to marketing. I don't have any idea, right? From an exposure perspective, how to do it, you know, whatever it may be. And it really bothers me that people think that a real estate agent's job is to market a property. Like they use the word marketing, Chris. They use that word, and I think it's a thin veil over the fact that is what they think that their value they're bringing to a situation really is. When let's face it, all they do is put it on Zillow put it on the MLS. It syndicates, and that is where 99.9% of people are going to see it. And I know that people could argue this point. I know that they could till they're blue in the face, but there's probably 5% of realtors that I've ever dealt with out of the tens of thousands that I have that probably actually do a really good job of marketing a property effectively. And they probably have a deeper understanding of what we're going to go through today because obviously your background is marketing. I voiced my frustrations within our team. We actually had a team connect the other week. And, you know, the frustrations of agents using that word marketing in order to hide behind it or like just ask or just say the word marketing to keep themselves relevant in a conversation is just bizarre when it really isn't that. Their goal is actually to, you know, really focus on getting their seller to meet the marketplace and then deal with whatever inbound they get from there really is their job at this point. So, mate, give me an idea of what it means to actually market something. Forget whether it's real estate, forget whether it's anything. How do you really market a product?
Well, first from a sense of like marketing, I don't think there's many professions out there that everybody thinks they can do, like marketing. Like everybody thinks they're a marketer, and they just think it's kind of like the easiest thing in the world. They're like, oh yeah, I'll post some stuff on social media, or oh yeah, I'll run some Facebook ads. And them actually diving into the weeds and actually placing those ads, or even advertising or creating a flyer, creating a billboard, understanding placement, understanding all that stuff. Like, everyone thinks they can market. And then I think that's one of the things I've learned in real estate at a very young age. I've joined right out of like getting a marketing degree and getting a business degree, and joined real estate. And it's like, oh, everybody thinks they already know marketing. And then you get into conversations with them and they don't understand literally the basics of marketing, which is, there's 4 variables when it comes to marketing for any given conversation, which is product, price, placement, and promotion. And everybody just focuses.
Let's go slow those down for me again. What is it?
The 4 variables you can control in any marketing whatsoever. And when we talk about marketing, it's just the promotion of the influencing of buyers to buy your product. Like, think of that from a marketing perspective. The influencing of buyers to buy your product, service, whatever, your offer. At that point, that's what marketing is as a whole. There's only 4 variables, and you can dumb it down super simple. It's product, which in this case, if we're talking about real estate, we're talking about the home, or if you're talking about when you're marketing yourself, you're talking about your services and what you offer to your community. If you're talking about a product, I mean, it's everything from this cup to everything. So that's your product. Then we're talking about price, which when it comes to real estate, we have a lot of different ways of trying to figure out price and fair market value, which we'll probably dive into. Place, which is place is the MLS. Think of place as the MLS. That's your distributor. So when you talk about place in marketing, that's like, is the product in Costco? Is the product on
like,
the shelves?
And then what position on the shelf are you paying for it to be in? Yeah, gotcha.
And that's promotion. So now we start talking about promotion. So are you talking about you're paying for an end cap in Costco where, it's by itself and it's got its own entire setup and you get to put advertising above it? That would be your promotion. That's your last thing on there. Or are you running Facebook ads to go direct to consumer? Are you doing radio ads? What are you doing at that point to draw more people there? That's your promotion side of it. Agents, when they say marketing, 99% of the time, like we talked about, they're putting it on Zillow and in the MLS. That's place. Like, that's just your distributor. Like, that has nothing to do with it. That's like putting a book on Amazon. Of course, you're going to put a book on Amazon, like, or on the Kindle or whatever. Like, of course, you're going to be doing that. So that's place. Agents don't focus enough on the other side, the other 3. So the one that we could take out of the equation immediately is place, because that's the MLS.
Yeah. Well, let's because product, right?
Yeah. Product, so let's dive into each one.
So let's go into each one of them.
Yep.
And because product, like I think about Alex and Deanna, who are a part of the company, and I've got to be honest, is that they are obsessed with making sure they have the right product to come to market. Now, Don't get me wrong, is it's not the way that I would run my business, because at the end of the day, 1, I probably don't have the skill set to. 2 is that I'm just not that way where I will spend weeks and months on actually getting a property ready to come to marketplace like they will. Like, they'll have their contractors in, they will remodel a bathroom for a seller, they'll do all that type of stuff to maximize the value. I'm better at maximizing the value in the condition that ultimately you give it to me.
Yeah.
So I think
that's why I would say that's 98% of agents out there. Like 98% of agents just take the product as they get it, and they have no bearing on it whatsoever. Like, they're happy to get any listing, right? Like, they don't care if it's a $400,000 house in the middle of nowhere, or it's $1 million home on the beach. Like, they couldn't care if the difference at that point. It's wherever someone reaches out to them, says, hey, I'd love to interview you. I'd love for you to list my home, XYZ. They just say yes. And so product, most agents don't have any issue with whatsoever, because they can't control it. And they don't even have the skill set to say to a homeowner, hey, you need to mow your lawn, or hey, you need to clean up your curb appeal, or hey, you need to paint these walls. Like, a lot of agents don't even go into those things.
Yeah. When that's that is, they're really the churn and burn type of people to take it in whatever condition it ultimately is. And again, I don't think I was there, or am there. I think that it would be the degree of actually having like a staging company as my design 100%. Partners that would come in and whatever it may be. So that's first element of it is that so product is. I think product is controllable of, I don't know, if there was 100, if you were going to give percentages to the 4 Ps, I think product in the real estate world is probably controllable up to about 25%. Do you think that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's a good
ideally,
solid quarter.
what you would want, ideally, what you would want is you would want a lot of these to be. I mean, place since everybody's doing MLS, that would be nothing. Like, you know what I
It's
mean?
nothing.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely nothing.
Well,
And so,
but it also, sorry, Chris, it place, I have to be honest though, is that place and making sure that it syndicates through to the public portals where there's the most,
yeah,
we have a listing at the moment in Nashville where, these agents work for a particular company that is going through very big feud with Zillow at the moment. And they're like, no private listings where we're going to be able to get the most people through.
yeah,
They have legitimately not had one phone call in 4 weeks on this property.
yeah.
We convert it to Zillow and then immediately it just erupts.
Yeah,
So
100%. And San Diego
yeah,
did the same thing. When San Diego did the whole fighting, this I don't know, must have been 2013 or
yeah,
2014.
Sotheby's did the no price marketing sort of all the
Yeah.
whatever.
So
Yeah,
San Diego did the
showing
same thing where they were trying to cut Zillow out of the market and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, everything dried up, and they're like, "Holy crap, we got to go into Zillow." So
yeah,
what I'm saying on place is there's not many points where you can differentiate yourself in a place situation.
right.
And what I mean by that is like you put it on the MLS, it syndicates out like everyone supposed to quote unquote do. There's not many ways for you to differentiate yourself in marketing. You're just doing it that way. While in
Mm,
more of an e-commerce way, there's plenty of ways to differentiate yourself in a place variable. What I
mm.
mean by that is different stores to put it in, different distributors. Are you distributing locally, nationwide, internationally? Like there's a lot more at that point, and you could do a
Yeah,
little bit of that from a real estate perspective. Obviously, you can syndicate out to international buyers and everything like that.
Chris, let me cut you off though.
Yep.
This is where agents are just fucking out of control space cadets when it comes to this.
Yep.
And again, that is a technical term. Is that
It's in the dictionary.
yeah? They think are these other places that magically fucking exist.
Yeah.
They do. And it just
100%.
blows my mind. They do not exist.
Yep.
99.9% of the people look on the online platforms, whether it's Redfin, whether it's there's
Zillow,
three buyers. I
Trulia,
tell this story all the
Realtor.
time.
Yeah.
There is 3 buyers that we had on the Soma property for $45 million. Paris Hilton, James Harden, and another VC out of New York, right? All 3 of them. Paris's brother. Where did you find the property? Oh, Paris sent me a Zillow link.
Yep.
James Harden. Where did James see it? And it was his agent. She said, he sent me a Redfin link. Oh, he looks on Redfin. That's interesting. Okay. And then the VC, his agent, sent a realtor.com link, which was odd. Like again, like you never really get realtor.com ones. But all in all, like it's like the seller wanted to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing there that would have been completely wasted in that situation. Probably. We don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. And so what I'm getting at is the agent doesn't control much from a product perspective, and they don't control much from a place perspective. And what I mean by that is differentiating yourself from other competition in the market. That's think of marketing as that. Like you are trying to position yourself differently or above or some way to stand out amongst the other competition in the market. That's where marketing comes from. Market, like it is the first word in marketing. The one thing that are the two things you can control like categorically are price and promotion. Like in what I get at this is if everything's great, if you have the product and say it's just a normal house, it's clean, everything it's modernly updated, like everything's pretty well in that, it's priced normally, and you put it on Zillow, or I mean you put it on the MLS, it syndicates out to Zillow. You don't really have to do any promotion. Like you don't have to do anything outside of that because it's going to sell. Like it's just one of these normal homes. It fits the most buyers that are in the marketplace. Everybody wants it. That's the homes that we see with the most saves, the most views on Zillow, 100%.
Well, I think
when
that
one of
speaks
those
directly to
what's
the
that?
auction process. It speaks directly to the auction process.
100%. But when one of those are messed up, when one of those are just not perfect, when the product needs a little bit of work, when the home is a little bit crazy, or it's got weird colors on the inside, it's just a little bit different, it's got a different floor plan or something, that's where then you have to start compensating in your other areas. You either have to do promotion to get more people to look at it to then find your right buyer. You have to be different on your place, whether that's standing out with different photos or different listing descriptions. Yep. Or your price. And if your price is listed at all the other homes that sold normally at that, but yours isn't normal because your product is not the one that's right, then your price has to either come down or like it has to be adjusted because it's not suitable to the mass majority of buyers in the marketplace. That's what I don't think agents understand every single day, is those four variables. If one of them's lacking, there is a balance, a counterbalance that happens on the other three. And you
Mm.
need to focus on those other three to get it done, to get this deal
Okay.
done.
So product, we get
Product.
that.
Yep.
We get price. Price is just obviously key.
But I think we should dive into price a little bit, because people think of price as like, hey, I set a number based on the comps that are in the area.
No, yeah.
That's not right. Like,
No, it needs to be a number that
price,
obviously shows great value for money in real estate.
yeah.
Like again, in if you've got a product that is unbelievable, okay, yes, is the value. Like I often say, Chris, and this is probably down to the four Ps. The best home in the world will remain unsold based on the price.
And that's one of the four variables, again, where you're saying one of them's messed up because the price is just astronomical or something, or it's the all the other three are terrible, but then the price is so low. Of course, everybody's going to buy it because they love the price. Like,
Yeah.
and so someone's going to come in, buy it, and then they're going to do whatever to it. But if the price is astronomical and just sits on the market, that's one of your fours that you didn't compensate for. Like,
Yeah.
you had to try and compensate with you. I mean, we've seen every property in the market where it sits on the market for forever, 2 years, because it's listed at $18 million and really it's worth four.
Yeah.
Like, and it just sits there and takes
Well,
price
and
cut after price cut after
that
price cut.
that reputational damage of that
Yep.
property takes away from the product eventually anyway, of people wondering what's wrong.
And that's what I want to get at, is price in marketing terms is not necessarily price. Like, think of your Rolex, or think of like these Mercedes Benz. They don't cost astronomically more to make than other things like that are similar in their marketplace, like a two-door versus a Rolex. Why are they
Yeah.
$3,000 difference? But
Yeah.
they're pretty similar in movements, and they're pretty similar in all that stuff. It's perceived value that realtors don't take into consideration. And that's one of the big things when it comes to marketing price. Like, if I see on a shelf and I see a perceived value of, like, say they're marketing a dish soap for $8, but right next door, everything looks the same on this other dish soap. All the ingredients look the same on the packaging. Everything looks the same. And it's $4 less. Which one am I going to choose? I'm probably going to choose the $4 less one because of the perceived value of that. And that's how they win.
And 80% of the marketplace will see it that way. I might be on the other side of the 80% where I might be in that 20% where I might get skeptical on something that might be cheaper based on the fact that it's like, is it going to this, that, and the other?
Break, and do I have to buy two of these to counteract the one? Am I going to get the better quality? And that's, again, a different perceived value. So how are you bringing perceived value into your price equation? And that's where I think realtors don't understand, where they're like, well, I'm pricing it $20,000 above the home that sold 6 months ago because it has a better backyard and has this and that. But you didn't express any of that. Like, you didn't show any of that. And you didn't clearly educate the buyers in the market on that piece.
Yeah.
And so how do they know why it's $20,000 more? Like,
how does timing break into this? Because
Yep.
I often think about like if you take into consideration like a tract home community, right? In today's marketplace, let's say that there's 250 homes, there's 3 different floor plans, they're all the same, like all basically the same. There might be different paint covers, or basically from a bones perspective, they're the same. There's the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,500 square foot home sells for $1 million. So then all of them are basically worth similar numbers at that point, right? I often believe that in that community, Chris, is that when something sells within a 3-month cycle, that the home that comes onto the marketplace within that 3-month cycle, I really do believe is worth less money than the one that just sold, because ultimately the demand that one person that was going to pay that amount of money within that window of time is now gone. You have to deal with the ones that are left over. If there was a high demand in that situation, which in many, many cases, in many, many different markets now, there is not that multiple offer situation where you can simply put your home on the market and deal with the leftover buyers that are there. You're dealing with the fact that home was on the marketplace for 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 days. Then it sells, okay, and it sells for $1 million. That means your home's probably now worth $950 within inside a period of time when there's not that replenishment of buyers coming into the market.
And I think that's one of the big things when it comes to real estate marketing, that is a variable that we can't control. And so there's probably a fifth one out there from like the P's, but I don't know a P word for it. But it's just basically the market. Like, and that's one of the variables that we can't control. Is there, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Are there enough buyers coming into the area? Is this in high demand? XYZ. And I think that's one of the things that we always don't reflect in price necessarily. And that's where that's kind of what probably gravitated me towards auction the most, is that we're not actually setting the price to have that variable come into play. Like, we're trying to drastically remove one of the P's out of the variation so that the other three can shine. Like, that we're talking about from a product perspective, we're talking about from a promotion perspective. We're trying to get everybody through the door and then create competition in there so that then the price then dictates itself. So we're not over here guessing, is it that fifth variable that's not really in most marketing standpoint. Like, if we're marketing a cup, there's always markets for a cup. Like, if we're marketing toilet paper, there's always a market for toilet paper. You know what I mean? There's some things that are evergreen.
Hence the reason there's probably unbelievable competition in those marketplaces.
100%. Yeah. But like t-shirts, or like, like a brand or something like that, people, they live and die on those 4 Ps. Like, people are going to buy t-shirts, and people can always spring for a $20 t-shirt. But if you're talking about your biggest investment in things that, people rarely buy in their lifetime, they buy, maybe once, twice, or anything like that. That's one of those things where we have to take into consideration this fifth variable that is out there from a marketing perspective, which is just the market. Like, and then I don't think agents try to compensate for that enough as well, because again, if you have all these where you're counterbalancing, if one of those is messed up, like say we are in a buyer's market, say that's where we're transitioning, we're probably more even in my neighborhood and everything like that, but say you are
Seattle and Pacific Northwest is still more even, but
say you're in a true buyer's market, then those other P's that we talked about, you have to compensate. Your product either has to be so good that it flies off the market immediately.
100%.
The price has to be so good. The price has to be so good that people are like, man, this is a good deal. It doesn't matter if I, have to wait or anything like that. Like, or that I have to pay this interest rate or anything like that. Like, I need to jump on this right now. The product is that good. Or your promotion's just so stellar that you just get in front of every single buyer that's out there. And they see it.
That you cloud the other competition.
Yeah.
So sorry. Product, price,
place, promotion. Place is the one that I just say forget about. Like that's your MLS, that's Zillow, that's the main portals. That is your distributors. So that's when you think of that. Just think of place, throw that out the window. But the ones that we should be focusing on as realtors is product, place, and promotion. And I think the problem is everyone just says marketing out there. They're not focused on promotion at all. They don't focus on running Facebook ads
on the nuance of this, man. They're just not. And I think that if you took somebody through that and you showed them is like, if you took them in your listing presentation through that, is sort of product, price, place, and promotion. Product, okay, great, we can work on this one. Price, we can work on. Place, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, there is no one magical portal that everyone is like at the end of the day, everybody is online in the real estate portals. We're going to get there. And then promotion, okay, in the promotion site, the distribution of that's probably going to ultimately be the same as everyone else. Do you agree with that, Chris? Like, I honestly believe that promotion and place are the two. Yeah.
I don't think agents are doing anything from a promotion perspective when it comes to a listing. Let's just throw that out there. Outside of
promotion, is promotions photos? Is that that part of it? Like photos, video.
Like they're doing all the same things. There's not the mass majority of agents are not doing anything to differentiate themselves, their listings specifically in a promotion aspect. Like they're taking photos, they're doing the virtual tours, they're doing video. Like they're doing all the little things when it comes to that stuff. Most of them aren't doing Facebook ads. Most of them, like for their listing specifically, they're not doing Facebook ads for them. They're not doing things out of the box where we see a lot of it in Australia. Like you see a lot of the agents going out of the box to try and differentiate themselves. You see like that girl in Florida who does those kind of sarcastic videos that's kind of going viral right now. And so you do see those from a listing perspective where she is differentiating herself from a promotion perspective, and she's getting more buyers through the door because of that. But most agents don't focus on that, in my opinion. Most agents are focused on product and price. And one of the big things from back in my realtor days was we did put these 4 Ps in our listing presentation, and it helped us 10,000 fold, both from just getting the product right on the marketplace. So when we listed the product, we were able to have those curb appeal conversations with them, the paint the walls conversation, because we put it as this is one of your Ps that you need to focus on from a marketing perspective.
Right. Indeed. Well, that's. I think that rounds it all out, mate. I really do enjoy that part of it, and I think that can be a continued topic that we continue to talk about on Rethink. Hey.
Yeah, 100%. So hopefully everybody got some use out of this.
Thanks, bud. So about 75% of our audience hasn't liked, followed, or subscribed to our podcast. It would mean the world to us, and it would help this podcast more than you know to expand our reach if you were to like, follow, or subscribe on any of the platforms that you're watching or listening on. Thanks again.